Okay, so now we're talking about characteristics. So there are 3 attributes in the game: strength, heart, and wits, as we were looking at. A player who is high in strength can be tough and fit, or quick and alert, or physically attractive and imposing. Every aspect of an adventurer that relies on vigor or physical well-being is represented by strength. Heart measures the adventurer's capacity for emotion, empathy, and enthusiasm. Player heroes with high heart score can be fiery, energetic, and hard to daunt. Activities that benefit from a passionate or dynamic temper may be influenced by a player hero's heart score. A player hero with high wits can be clever and attentive and ingenious. Any action that calls for an adventurer to be sharp-witted, sensible, or wise benefits from high wits. The 3 attribute ratings are used to determine a player hero's standard TNs, the default difficulty levels of all roles made to challenge the characteristics of the hero. Strength for all strength skills, heart for all heart skills, and when making valor rolls. It did say something about valor rolls, we'll have to look that up. And then wits for all of the wit skills, and also wisdom rolls, for example, to resist the temptation of treasure. Distinctive features, skills. Almost every action that the hero can attempt in the game is resolved using a skill. A player hero is walking across the length of the Shire to get back home, travel, running away from a threat, athletics, or listening intently to an orator's speech to weigh their words' insight. Skills and their use are described on page 14. Favored skills. A number of skills are marked as favored. The box to the left of the name is checked. Aha! That's what I thought. So favored skill: travel, scan, and explore. All rolls made using a favored skill are made with favored rolls. Skill categories. Yep, we have already seen that. Combat proficiencies. Oh, so we got that right here. So combat proficiencies here. We've got axes, bows, spears, and swords. Balin, being a dwarf here, is better with axes, but a little bit of skill in swords as well. Combat proficiencies express how well player heroes conduct themselves when engaged in battle. Rolls made using combat proficiencies are resolved in the same way as skill rolls, rolling a feat die and a number of success die equal to the rank possessed by the combat proficiency used, rolling only a feat die with a rank of 0. Combat proficiencies are rolled against strength TNs when making attack rolls. Okay, good to know. I guess that's why combat proficiencies are here under strength. Would make sense. Endurance, hope, and parry. Okay, here is endurance right here. Endurance, hope, and parry. These additional stats are connected to the hero's main attribute scores. Endurance and hope are the fundamental resources that keep the adventurer going. Endurance points are lost when engaging in strenuous activities. Hope points are spent voluntarily by players when their player heroes try to overcome their limitations. The parry score sets the target number for all attack rolls targeting a player hero. Okay, so that's like your defense. All right. For more information on how endurance and hope is found on page 18, parry is explained in combat. Okay, so these are all of our skills. No need to read through all of this, but our skills are athletics, awareness, awe, battle, courtesy, craft, enhearten, explore, healing, hunting, insight, lore, persuade, riddle, scan, song, stealth, and travel. Okay, so for instance, battle, I suppose, must be large-scale pitched battles. So, yes, shows a firm grasp in the rules of battle and the capability to maneuver appropriately when involved in violent confrontation. Well, it does say a battle skill can be used to gain advantage when fighting against a group of orcs. Scan. What is scan? Player heroes can use the scan skill when examining something closely or attentively. Okay. Combat proficiencies. There are 4 different combat proficiencies: axes, bows, spears, and swords. Okay, so this isn't just something that only he's got. I guess that is all 4 of them, and then your combat proficiencies, based on your character, are all in there. The axe's combat proficiency allows a player hero to use an axe, a great axe, a long-hafted axe, but also a mattock. Bows allow you to use bow and great bow. Spears, short spear, or fighting close combat with a great spear. Swords allow you to use short swords, swords, and long swords. Okay. A brawling attack. Adventurers who must leave behind their trusted weapons may find themselves forced to fight unarmed or to rely on a simple dagger or even a thrown stone. When this happens, they rely on their martial training to save themselves. Player heroes performing an attack while unarmed or using an improvised weapon roll a number of dice equal to their highest combat proficiency, but lose 1d. Unarmed attacks have a damage of 1 and cannot cause a piercing blow. Now we get to endurance and hope. Endurance and hope are what keeps the player heroes on the road, providing them with reserves of energy and with additional momentum that sometimes is the only chance a hero has to prevail. During play, heroes lose endurance points as the result of exertion and suffering harm. They spend hope voluntarily when they must succeed against difficult odds. It says that players may track these using different color counters, dice, or glass beads. Endurance. So endurance represents a player hero's resistance and is taken into account whenever an adventurer is subjected to some form of harm. In particular, player heroes lose endurance during combat, when they suffer physical damage from any source, or a consequence of any strenuous task requiring great effort. Okay, so I didn't see like hit points here, so I guess that is wrapped up in endurance. That's good to know. Player heroes whose endurance is reduced to 0 drop unconscious and wake up after 1 hour with 1 endurance point, unless they are also wounded. See resting. Weary. Used in conjunction with a hero's carried load, endurance determines when the weight and bulk of equipment starts to affect the hero's performance. Heroes become weary if their current endurance score becomes equal to or less than their load score. So load score over here, endurance score right there. When this happens, check the weary box on the character sheet. Player heroes remain weary until their endurance score rises above their load again. Resting. The player heroes regain lost endurance by resting. The extent of the player hero's recovery depends on whether they take a short rest or a prolonged one. Short rest. Under most circumstances, a day of adventuring allows a maximum of 1 short rest, usually in the middle of the day. If a precise timing is desired, a short rest may be said to correspond to at least 1 hour of inactivity. With a short rest, adventurers recover the number of lost endurance points equal to their strength. Equal to our strength? Surely that's 5 and not 13. This says TN. So maybe his strength is 5, his heart is 4, and his wits are 5? Because that would mean that during a short rest, Balin here would get back 5 endurance points. That seems to make more sense than getting back 13. Prolonged rest. Under normal circumstances, a group of player heroes is allowed to take a single prolonged rest each day, usually a night's sleep. The lore master may allow the group to take more than 1 prolonged rest if the player heroes are recovering in a safe and comfortable place. Player heroes taking a prolonged rest recover all endurance points. Wounded heroes recover a number of points equal to their strength. So that's what that meant, that weary heroes recover much more slowly. Or actually, wounded heroes recover much more slowly. So wounded heroes recover nothing during a short rest, and what the other heroes would recover during a short rest, during a prolonged rest. Okay, hope over here. Hope is a hero's reserve of spiritual fortitude and positivity. A hopeful character can keep going when physically stronger heroes have already succumbed to despair. During play, heroes can spend hope to gain a hope bonus to a die roll or to trigger the effects of certain cultural virtues. Player heroes whose hope score is reduced to 0 are spiritually drained. It is impossible for them to find the energy required to push themselves beyond their limits. Recovering hope. Recovering hope points indicates that the player heroes are reaffirming their lost sense of confidence. Player heroes who are down to 0 hope in the course of an adventure recover a single hope point once they take a prolonged rest. All heroes recover a number of hope points equal to their heart score, so I guess this is, in this case, 4, between adventures. Valor and wisdom. The heroic stature of an adventurer can be measured in different ways. The One Ring uses 2 gauges to show this: wisdom and valor. Wisdom expresses the player hero's trust in their own capacities, their self-confidence, and capacity for good judgment. Valor is a measure of the hero's courage, as tempered by dangerous deeds. Individuals of valor are willing to place themselves in danger for the safety of others. The lore master may require the player heroes to make a roll testing their wisdom or valor. When this happens, such rolls are resolved as usual, rolling 1 feat die and a number of success die equal to the appropriate rating in the challenged ability. The difficulty is the Heart TN for rolls based on valor, and the Wits TN for rolls based on wisdom. Rewards. Rewards represent the characteristics of such high-quality weapons and defensive gear, priceless instruments of war, given to heroes by their own folk or family, or by generous lords honoring them by letting them choose a weapon or suit of armor from their personal armory. The reward earned by the pre-generated heroes are fully explained on their character sheet. So Balin here has Balin's axe, grievous, keen, and coat of silver mail, close-fitting, cunning make. Okay? Virtues are special abilities that complement a hero's arsenal of skill and combat proficiencies, describing aptitudes that come naturally to an adventurer or that arise through time and practice. Much more than simple talents, virtues define the heroic stature of player heroes. The virtues practiced by the pre-generated heroes are fully explained on the character sheet. So, Balin here has dark for dark business, inspired in the dark. Oh, that's nice. Dour-handed, add +1 to the damage inflicted on a heavy blow, and Durin's Way, +2 to parry underground. Okay. Useful items. Any tool, instrument, or device carried by a player hero to perform one or more specific tasks is a useful item. Things like a hammer or a hunting knife or flint and steel to start a fire, and so on. Useful items are listed on a player hero's character sheet to determine if they gain a player hero's advantage. An advantage, they are associated with a skill. If a player hero is making a roll outside of combat using a skill associated with useful items, and the lore crafter deems that this should grant the hero an advantage, the player hero gains 1d. Only one item can benefit the same roll. So I see he has armor here, he's got shield, he's got war gear, Balin's axe, and then also traveling gear, dwarf make viol for song. Adventuring, so this looks like Game Master information. Probably going to skip over this. We've got introduction scenes, end of a session. And now, we're to the end, combat. So we definitely want to know about combat.
That concludes the third video on learning how to play the One Ring Role-Playing Game. Our look at this game will continue in the next video where we will look at combat. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this video, please check out the playlists on my YouTube channel. I've got a lot more videos on role-playing, fantasy, storytelling, and even action figures, all organized by playlist. So pick out a topic you're interested in, click the playlist, and enjoy some videos. See you next time.